As I said, the United States was not ready. We've got to train, we've got to train fast, we've got to get geared up. The United States Marine Corps is going to be the leading brunt edge of the Pacific theater. But we also know all armed forces are going to have to serve out there. That means the equipment, the weapons, and the tactics have to be developed. We've never fought an island battle before. We fought on land, and it was a trench warfare. So everything is on the book has to change. So we're going to start off really simple here. First Marine you can see come out here is armed with a 1903 Springfield bolt-action 5-shot repeater. Now understand something. In 1941, every country in the world was shooting a 5-shot bolt-action repeater. We adopted the 1903 Springfield in 1903. We adopted its ammunition that is shooting 30-06 in 1906. At 8.5 pounds, it is a very deadly, accurate piece. The United States Marine Corps trains all of their personnel as riflemen first. They will not leave boot camp until they qualify at 500 yards with this weapon. Open sight, very accurate. The ramp sight will get him out to 800 yards. He puts a scope on it, and he can get 1,200 yards. As most of you know, 30-06 is a hard-hitting, long-range shooter. What we learned real fast, most combat in the Pacific was less than 100 yards. Very close, very dangerous. Therefore, obviously, we have a bayonet we can affix to this piece. I'm going to ask my gunnery sergeant to demonstrate this piece. Notice the similarity in operation of this versus the Arasaka. 5 rounds are carried in our belt. We carry 100 rounds in that belt. 10 rounds for a duel. Once he pulls that stripper clip out, normally he'll throw it away. We'll obviously save him for later. It's tedious, but you're trained to operate accordingly. Now, Gunny is pretty quick with this thing, so I'm going to put him on the task here and show you just how fast a trained Marine can handle this weapon. It's all you. Five rounds, then he's got to reload. Now you'll notice something. How many of you guys shot an 03? Put your hand up. Come on, don't be bashful. She's got a little kick to her, doesn't she? Blanks don't kick. Therefore, it's for good show purposes. A lot of wood, a lot of steel. But let's face it, guys, we're on a battlefield with an enemy we've never fought with the same type of rifle. They call that uneven and unfair. We're attacking, he's defending. So we figured out pretty quick we're going to do something better. The next rifle we adopted came out in 1935 from a guy named John Garand. I saw several of them being shot out here this weekend, and I'll tell you, you guys heard the difference when that 30-06 hit that target, didn't you? Well, there you go. The M1 rifle, 9.5 pounds, 42 inches long, gas-operated, air-cooled, shoulder-fired weapon system. Very unique for its period. We're the only country that adopted a semi-automatic at the start of the war, and it was used all the way up through the 80s. It is still used around some countries today. Most of you know its operation. You open that slide, insert your end blocks, close it, and you're ready to do business. Now here's a feature a lot of people don't think about, the safety. On the 03, the safety is on top of the rear receiver, which means you have to take your hand up here and move your safety. It disturbs your sight picture. With the M1 rifle, the safety is now in the trigger housing group, which does not disturb your sight picture. Makes it easier to maintain in combat. Again, effective, fast shooting weapon. Demonstrate your piece. That's what happens too. Guess what? Pick up your piece. All out.
All out. Have it.
That happens in matches too? And that was blanks. I'd hate you when you do with live rounds. Okay.
Oops.
What we have next is the answer to another age-old problem, folks, command and leadership. As a commander, you're on the battlefield, and you've got to handle troops. They say that if I'm shooting, I'm not doing my job because I should be in command. But let's face it, in combat in the Pacific, we're all going to be shooting. Therefore, we want to protect ourselves. So we're taking different weapon system in play. You want to try that again? You guys want to see them try that again?
Yeah.
All right, come on. You ready for push-ups, right? All right, fire. There you go. Outstanding. One more. Thank you. Now, you guys hear that little ping sound?
Yeah.
So I'm in combat for the first time with the Springfield. Remember I told you guys Japanese never lost a war. They're not stupid. They know you got a 5-shot repeater. They wait till you fire 5 shots, and he's going to do something like bonsai. That's bayonets and swords at close range. We received these M1s, and it's got this little end block. Everybody familiar with that, right? Here's a little trick we learned the first time out. You fire 5 rounds real slow. He jumps up and attacks, take an empty and do this. You still got 3 rounds. It's a trick, but it keeps your Marines and soldiers alive. You learn to adapt to the battlefield conditions. All right, Marine, fall out. Now I'm going to get back to my sergeants and commanders. They need to be commanding, but they need to be armed. The weapon we had at first was a sidearm. All you shooters out here probably recognize this piece. The 1911 A1 45 semi-automatic pistol. Fires the M2 hardball ACP. It is a man stopper, as you guys mostly know. You guys are shooting some fancy guns out here this weekend. This is a rock. It is simple. It does its trick. Most guys during the war were not properly trained with these pieces, but it's very accurate, as you guys know. And it's been around since 1911. It is still a very good sidearm today. Very simple. Open his breech, insert his magazine, close it, he's locked and loaded and ready. Very simple operation. Blowback. Each round fires, cocks and locks, and he goes again. Y'all ready? Do it. They don't like blanks either. I know he's going to get him sooner or later. Again, Hollywood blanks and real weapons sometimes don't get along too well. 1911 A1. I got a problem though. Short range. I'm in the jungle. I've got a fanatic enemy that is going to be hard to knock down. So the military decided to give us a smaller rifle system for the officers, NCOs, and the truck drivers. Then came the M1 carbine. 30 caliber, gas operator cool. A lot of people call it the mini M1. It is a total different weapon. The cartridge was built totally different. It is 30 caliber, but a very small cartridge. Her weakness, not only does it jam well a lot, it is the knockdown power. It doesn't have the kinetic energy. But in close combat, in the brush country, and urban warfare, the Marines and the soldiers liked it a lot. Chest fire your weapon, please. End block 20-round magazine fits under the receiver. Pop it in there. Activate it. You're ready. Well, one worked right for time. Okay, what else I got over here in my little repertoire? Oh, I bet I got it, don't I? Come here, Jimbo. Come here, Gunny. I'm gonna put Gunny on the spot. You want to talk about this piece now? I can play with it. That's what I thought. All right, Gunny, come on. What you've got here is the M1A1 Thompson submachine gun. Developed in the 20s, we call it the M1A1, but you probably all know it by another name. And that would be the
Thompson.
The Tommy gun. Originally it came out, gained notoriety through the gangsters and law enforcement, and used in the 20s. The military took it, simplified production, made it a little bit lighter, not much. It still weighs about 11 pounds. It's going to do a good job in close combat in the trenches and the bunkers in the South Pacific. To the Marines who used this weapon, it had no shortcomings, although it was heavy and did have a tendency to climb when fired. Like I said, for the Marines, it would put a man
down, stop him in his tracks, and they had few complaints about it. Let's take a look at what she'll do. M1A1 Thompson submachine gun. Thank you.
I think people like that one.
So obviously firepower is the name of the game, isn't it?
What's that?
I've got a soldier that's on an island. He's bound to his emperor. He is not going home. I want my Marines and soldiers to go home. Therefore, I'm going to give them this firepower. I'm going to take that M1 rifle and make her a little better. But this happened in 1918, known as the BAR, Browning Automatic Rifle. At 15.5 pounds empty, it's a piece to carry. It has a carrying handle. It has bipods. Has a small flash hider. But her big claim to fame is she's air-cooled, ready to rock. 20-round box magazine at 450 rounds a minute. If you can see him, you can get him. Preferred firing position is from the hip or in the bipod position. Accurate, this baby does not kick. It has a buffer in the stock that absorbs that. Also, I got to tell you, this guy really is a problem for us because it was never designed to shoot a blank round. And we were constantly working on this piece. This guy actually is a 1918 piece. It is original. So we're going to try to see how she does for us today. You ready for it, Bodie? Set the locker load. That's 20 rounds.
Yeah, that was quick.
In the Pacific Theater, a lot of these guys are on points for obvious reason, because they can put that heavy round downrange, and we can supply them. Notice the American Army, too, kept their ammunition pretty stable. 30-06, 45, 30 carbine. We could support each other that way and keep ammunition in the field. We also ran into a problem, though. I've got a guy that's in a bunker that doesn't want to go home. I don't want to lose a lot of Marines taking that bunker, do I? I don't have air cover that good yet, so I've got to assault that bunker. How many of you guys watch war movies? Come on, don't be shy, get your hand up. I don't know if you can see this or not, but how many of you guys know what this is? Mark II fragmentation hand grenade, nicknamed what? Pineapple. How many of you guys watched John Wayne take one of these, pull the pin with his teeth, throw it 300 yards, knock that guy out of a tree? Small nuclear device, Hollywood. Well, if John Wayne had my hand grenade, he'd pull the pin with his teeth. He meets the newest member of the medical corps called a dentist. If I had John Wayne's hand grenade up on my gear and I went walking through the jungle, a vine would reach up, pull that pin. I get what they call a negative entry in my health record. The good news, you can throw it about 30 yards. The bad news, her blast radius is 50 yards. I'm not going against a Nambu machine gun with this, but I will do this. I'll put together an assault team that is going to do the job. Here they come. We call this the combat assault team in World War II. Their job was literally to go out there and deal with those bunkers or any hard targets we need to get. We don't wear armor. All I have is a cotton uniform on. We don't stop bullets with our helmets. But I guarantee you, when the Japanese saw these guys coming, they added to their own demise. Our training called it blind them, blast them, and burn them. Blind them simply. The shotgun, 12 gauge. Weapon systems, automatic, whatever can give him the cover. Burn them. That's the flamethrower you see here. Mark II flamethrower with the number 2 wand. That is 75 pounds on this young man's back. He is the slowest man in my platoon. His range is 80 yards. On those 2 large tanks, he's carrying diesel mix. Late in the war, we used napalm. And you know what that's going to do? It's not going to go out until it burns out. It is pressured by CO2 or nitrogen. At about 800 psi, he squeezes those back two triggers, and he forces that fuel air mix down that hose, out that wand. Now, we can't get the striker matches anymore, so we use propane. Same thing, it makes a little fire, and it pushes that flame out. Nobody ever survived a flamethrower attack, and it does not burn their victims. It will suffocate you in less than a second, because it sucks all the oxygen out of that bunker, and you inhale all the flame. Flamethrower is not blank adapted. You'll get to see that shortly. Thank you. I get him up there close enough, I've got to make sure those Japanese don't come out of that bunker, right? Even though I trust this flamethrower, I don't want them coming out, so now I'm going to blast them. Very simple. 22 pounds of TNT. Pull that fuse, throw that in there, collapse that bunker, move on. They still need protection, though. That's where this guy comes in. Thank you, two Marines. Y'all go. You guys shoot shotguns out here, right? You guys like shotguns? Well, so it's obvious I don't have to talk a lot about this shotgun. This is an Ithaca. It is a World War II vintage. 12-gauge double-aught buck with his full 5.6 rounds is the equivalent to 7 of my Marines with M1s at 100 yards. It is very good in the brush country, as some of you probably already witnessed. I'm going to ask him to demonstrate something you guys have been shooting all weekend. Y'all ready? Fire in a hole.
Yep, that's me.
That's why I don't like blanks either. We get a little more smoke because we use black powder for visual effects, obviously.